And welcome. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Ishrat Jahan was a Lashkar-e-Toiba operative, says David Headley on day 3 of his deposition in the 2611 attacks case. The testimony raises a political war of words. BJP says truth has won. Congress says that cannot justify a killing in cold blood. Lance Nayak Hanamanthapa passes away after 3 days after he was miraculously rescued from under tons of snow on the Siachen Glacier. Prime Minister, political leaders and army brass pay tributes. Odd even traffic restrictions to return to Delhi from the 15th of April to the 30th, announces Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Women drivers and two-wheelers to remain exempt from the restrictions. US Senate votes to tighten sanctions on North Korea in the backdrop of its claimed satellite launch last week. South Korea tightens the screws, shutting down an industrial park, the last remaining symbol of cooperation. And bloodbath at Dalal Street. The Sensex tanks more than 800 points. The Nifty settles below the 7,000 mark. Banking, power and realty plunge. The top story this evening, continuing his revelations and claims, David Coleman Headley today told a Mumbai court that Ishrat Jahan, the 19-year-old college student killed in an encounter in 2004 by the Gujarat police, was working for the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Headley also said that the LET chief, Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, told him about a botched-up operation in India by Lashkar operative Muzammil Bhatt.
Pakistani-American terrorist David Coleman Headley deposed for the third day on Thursday in a Mumbai court via video conferencing. Continuing his string of startling revelations, Headley told the special court that Ishrat Jahan was working for the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Ishrat Jahan was a 19-year-old college student who was killed in an encounter in 2004 by the Gujarat police for her involvement in a plot to assassinate the then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi.
तो उसने तुरंत कहा कि इशरत जहां ये नाम मैंने सुना था और पुलिस के चकमक में मारी गई थी, इसलिए मुजम्मिल भट्ट को जकीउर रहमान लखवी कोस रहा था. ये बात उसने आज बताई.
During the deposition, Headley also revealed that Lashkar-e-Toiba handlers sitting in Pakistan had coordinated the 2611 Mumbai attacks.
नवंबर 2008 से 28 नवंबर 2008 तक 3 दिन जो हमला चल रहा था, उस हमला में हमलावर कोई उनके आका से, उनके हैंडलर से फोन से बातचीत करते थे. हमारी इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी ने ये फोन कॉन्वर्सेशन पूरा इंटरसेप्ट किया था और ये बात स्पष्ट हुई थी कि अटैकर्स को पाकिस्तान से इंस्ट्रक्शन मिलती थी, जिससे आज डेविड ने कोरॉबरेट किया है.
The reason for calling Headley is to find out all aspects of what he knew regarding every incident in India. And certainly one of the questions that are involved, because this became a big issue. I mean, I don't want to digress from 2611 because his evidence for 2611 and the ISI's involvement in it and the LET's involvement, including that of all LET's highest operatives. That's the most important aspect as to what's been divulged today.
David Headley's revelations since Monday have increasingly pointed at Pakistan's hand in the terrorism targeting India. How this deposition is used as evidence remains to be seen. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the BJP has claimed that the David Coleman Headley deposition in court proves that Ishrat Jahan was a suicide bomber, vindicating the party's stand. Ishrat Jahan's death has been a bone of contention between the BJP and the opposition, which calls it a fake encounter. But the opposition wants the BJP to prove if Ishrat was killed before or after she was arrested.
David Coleman Headley has called Ishrat Jahan a suicide bomber working for the LET. Headley's claim has given the BJP ammunition. The party claims that Headley's testimony proves that Ishrat Jahan's death was not planned.
Ishrat Jahan का जो इनकाउंटर गुजरात के अंदर हुआ था, कई लोग उनको बेगुनाह बताते थे, लेकिन हेडली के खुलासे के बाद कम से कम उन लोगों को अपना बयान वापस लेना चाहिए।
Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju said Headley's revelations will help probe agencies.
हमारे देश के लिए, हमारा एजेंसीज के लिए ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि सही खबर और सही दिशा मिल रहे हैं।
But the Congress party has accused the BJP of misleading the public. The party has also asked the BJP to clarify whether the encounter that killed Ishrat Jahan was fake.
सरकार के ऊपर कोई अंकुश नहीं है, वो इसकी जांच कर सकती है कि डेविड कोलमैन हेडली का जो बयान है उसमें कितनी सच्चाई है और उसमें कितने तथ्य हैं। पर बुनियादी बात यह है कि क्या इशरत जहां और उनके साथियों को एक असली मुठभेड़ में मारा गया था?
Whether David Coleman Headley's revelations stand legal scrutiny remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, that it does give the BJP a political impetus. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Death had the final say on Siachen braveheart Lance Naik Hanamanthapa today. 3 days after he was miraculously rescued alive from beneath tons of snow, Lance Naik Hanamanthapa passed away in a hospital this morning from what doctors termed complete organ failure. Tributes and condolences for the martyr flow in.
A sorrowful end to the hope that had flickered when Lance Naik Hanamanthapa was pulled out from under 35 feet of snow on the Siachen Heights on Monday. The Prime Minister and Defence Minister, the Army top brass, past and present, hailed the martyr.
It is a sad day for all of us. It is a sad day for the unit, 19 Madras, to which he belonged. It is a very sad day for the family to which he belonged, his wife, his other folks, his next of kin. He was a brave soldier who battled it out in the ice, buried under the snow for 6 days and then 3 days in the hospital.
Consecutive health bulletins over the last 3 days from the Army Research and Referral Hospital in the capital spoke of multiple organ failure, brain swelling and near complete non-reaction to treatment. At 11:45 a.m. Thursday, he breathed his last.
We tried our level best to fight death for this brave Siachen warrior, but today morning his blood pressure, despite our support, despite all our measures, dropped down and he had a cardiac arrest and died about 11:45 this morning.
The end hits these people, his family, the most. He leaves behind a grieving wife, a 2-year-old daughter. The miraculous rescue had raised hopes in his village Betadur in Karnataka, but it was short-lived. Lance Naik Hanamantapa's death, along with 9 comrades after the landslide on the Siachen Heights on the 3rd of February, brings fresh attention to the cruel conditions Jawans face on duty on the glacier. This brave heart clung to life, overcoming huge odds, till death snatched him away. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And here are some of the reactions that have come in on the braveheart's death.
I grieve at his loss. I wish his soul all peace. I share the grief of his family.
हम लोगों को बहुत इस घटना से दुखी हुआ और मैं उनके परिवारजनों के साथ मैं अपना ये मैसेज देना चाहता हूँ कि हम लोग सब आपके साथ हैं इस दुख की घड़ी में, पूरे देश, और प्रार्थना करना चाहता हूँ कि उसको आत्मा को शांति दे.
The time has come to ensure that more lives are not lost due to harsh conditions in Siachen, and we sincerely hope that the issue of Siachen would be treated in an urgent manner between our two countries, and we would be able to resolve this problem through peaceful means.
It's extremely sad that after waging such a heroic battle, unfortunately this brave soldier passed away. Our condolences are with the family.
भारत माता का सपूत है और उसकी मृत्यु से सारा देश स्तब्ध है. हम चाहते हैं कि कारगिल पर भी और जो दूसरे संवेदनशील इलाके हैं उसमें जो रह रहे सैनिक हैं उनकी स्थिति पर भी संसद में इस बार बहस होना चाहिए.
My condolences and all the armed forces personal condolences and the nation's condolences to their family. We pray that the family has the requisite equanimity to bear this loss. It's a huge, huge, huge loss. He was a very brave soldier.
It's a very sad moment that Lance Naik Hanamanthapa is no longer with us. It was a miracle that he remained alive and survived for 6 days in the conditions of Siachen, where he was buried under almost 8 meters of snow, and the temperatures were going down to -40, -50 degrees.
Keeping the upcoming board exams in mind, the second phase of the odd-even scheme will be implemented from 15th April to 30th April in Delhi. The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal announced the second phase of the odd-even scheme on Thursday. Once again, women drivers and two-wheelers are exempt. The dates for the second phase have been decided in accordance with the survey conducted by the Delhi government. The Aam Aadmi Party government said about 81% of those who interacted with the government through phone calls, websites and neighbourhood gatherings voted in favour of the traffic rationing scheme. Transport Minister Gopal Rai said more than 11 lakh responses were received from the public through multiple channels. The radical road rationing scheme is aimed at curbing air pollution levels and traffic snarls in the national capital. The first phase of this scheme was held from the 1st to the 15th of January.
81% लोगों ने कहा है कि ऑड इवन दोबारा लागू होना चाहिए। 15 अप्रैल का कारण है कि 12 अप्रैल को बोर्ड के एग्जाम खत्म हो रहे हैं, लार्जली खत्म हो रहे हैं। एक एग्जाम 22 अप्रैल को भी है, पर वो बहुत माइनर सा छोटा सा है। तो 15 अप्रैल से 30 अप्रैल तक अगला फेज 15 दिन का चालू कर रहे हैं। हमें उम्मीद है कि शायद मई तक 1000 बसें आ जाएंगी, अगस्त तक और 1000 बसें आ जाएंगी और दिसंबर तक और 1000। तो दिसंबर के एंड तक हमारे पास 3000 buses hongi extra.
The Finance Ministry has termed India's 7.6% growth projection for the current fiscal as noteworthy and very significant in view of the global economic turmoil. The Economic Affairs Secretary said the government was keeping a close watch on developments and was prepared to deal with challenges. Secretary Shaktikant Das said volatility in the stock and currency market in India was a reflection of global turmoil. India's growth projection for 2015-16, he said, shows that it is able to hold on to growth. In its recent report on the global economy, the IMF had cut global growth estimates to 3.4% from an earlier projection of 3.6%. India, however, has retained its forecast at 7.3%. Though Das lauded steady growth in manufacturing and industry, he said challenges remained in agriculture, which has faced 2 consecutive years of drought.
Uncertainty about growth revival not only in US but world over. With regard to stock markets, India is not an exception, but we are better off than many of the other markets. All currencies are facing this volatility, all currencies are facing decline. Rupee decline is not something which is exceptional, but at the same time we are little better off and perhaps quite better off than most of the other currencies.
It was bloodbath on Dalal Street today. Benchmark indices, the Sensex and the Nifty crashed over 3% today, the biggest single-day drop since January last year, on account of a massive sell-off in bank, bar, realty and stocks coupled with global cues. The Sensex closed 807 points down at 22,952, while the Nifty settled 240 points lower at 6,976. Barring Cipla and Dr. Reddy's Labs, all stocks in the 30-share Sensex ended in the red. Bleak third-quarter results from State Bank of India also affected the market mood. State Bank of India announced that it posted a 67% decline in consolidated profit for the third quarter ended 31st December 2015 on account of higher provisioning for bad loans. A sell-off in European shares in early deals also dented the Indian market. A top European share index plunged to its lowest level in 2.5 years on Thursday, pulled down by a renewed slump in banking and mining stocks. Now, Congress President Sonia Gandhi is on a 2-day visit to her parliamentary constituency, Rai Bareli, in Uttar Pradesh. After arriving in Rai Bareli, she held a chowpal at Sardar village, where she interacted with locals, women and farmers. After giving them a patient hearing, Sonia assured them of all possible help that they needed. She is also slated to meet party workers and local Congress leaders later in the day. Sonia was in the constituency after a gap of 5 months. Last time she visited Rai Bareli was last September. Let's take a look at what else has been making news around the country nationwide. 188 children were admitted to hospitals on complaints of uneasiness after taking deworming tablets on the occasion of National Deworming Day. Cases were reported in Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana and Chhattisgarh. The government defended charges saying that there was no need to worry as mild side effects of the medicine are common. Around 27 crore children were administered deworming tablets yesterday. 12 Tamil Nadu fishermen were arrested by Sri Lankan Navy personnel today for allegedly crossing the international maritime boundary line. The Navy also took 2 boats into custody. The arrested fishermen have been handed over to the fisheries authorities before further legal action. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha today sought Prime Minister Modi's intervention in expediting 20 rail projects announced in successive budgets. The projects are allegedly yet to take off due to lack of funds. Jayalalitha said a draft MOU by Railways regarding forming a special purpose vehicle for 3 projects did not adequately reflect certain concerns of a government. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Breaking on Rajya Sabha television. One of the greatest scientific discoveries of our lifetime. A major scientific achievement that will change our understanding of the universe. Live on Rajya Sabha television. 8 p.m. onwards on the 11th of February. Keep watching.
Dynein motors, their function is proportional to their number. You need the same motor to do many different kinds of things inside the cell, and you may be able to tune that function just by tuning the number of the motor. This particular molecule, cholesterol, seems to be the basis on which these large teams are assembled.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Roop Malik, Associate Professor, TIFR, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, on the second day of his India visit, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and held bilateral talks. He was also accorded a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan receiving a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Al Nahyan, who is on a 3-day visit, was accorded a ceremonial guard of honor in the sprawling courtyard of Rashtrapati Bhavan in what is his first state visit to India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Home Minister Rajnath Singh were also present there. The Prime Minister later met Al Nahyan at his residence. The two leaders will hold another detailed round of talks, following which both sides are expected to sign a number of agreements. Ways to contain radicalism, stepping up counter-terrorism cooperation and dealing with the Islamic State are likely to figure prominently in the talks. Earlier in the day, the Crown Prince also visited Mahatma Gandhi's memorial at Rajghat, laid a wreath and planted a sapling there. Al Nahyan arrived in India on Wednesday with Prime Minister Modi keeping aside protocol to receive the dignitary. This is only the second time Modi has broken protocol and personally received a world leader, the first being US President Barack Obama in 2015. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, an Indian origin senior career diplomat, Haridin Sidhu, has been appointed Australia's next High Commissioner to India. She will replace Patrick Suckling in New Delhi and will have a non-resident accreditation to Bhutan as well. She is the third Indian origin envoy in India after US and Canadian envoys and the second Indian origin Australian. She has previously served overseas in Moscow and Damascus and also served as First Assistant Secretary in the Department of Climate Change, Assistant Director General in the Office of National Assessments and Senior Advisor in the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet in Australia. Now, the Korean Peninsula remains on the edge even after days of the rocket launch by North Korea. In the latest repercussion, the only symbol of the two rivals Korea's cooperation and industrial park is shutting down. Meanwhile, the United States Senate has voted to tighten sanctions on North Korea. However, the show of defiance and strength by Pyongyang continues. Its leader Kim Jong-un has now executed his senior military leader.
Heightened tensions in the Korean Peninsula after North Korea's long-range rocket launch. And the latest victim is the Kaesong Industrial Park, a rare example of cooperation between the two countries. South Korea is now shutting down its operations in the park, leaving workers of about 124, mostly South Korean companies, dejected.
기업인들은 정부에서 많이 보상 같은 거 하지 않겠습니까? 하지만 저희 일하는 주재원들은 어렵게 생각을 하고 있습니다.
네, 우리 군은 국민의 생명과 안전을 최우선으로 해서 이번 개성공단 지역에서 발생될 수 있는 다양한 우발 상황에 대해서
The current shutdown comes even as the US Senate voted unanimously in favor of tougher sanctions against North Korea. The House of Representatives had passed a similar bill last month. The two will now have to be reconciled into a final measure, needing President Barack Obama's sign-off. The US military also held a meeting with South Korea and Japan in Hawaii, pledging to increase intelligence sharing on the North's nuclear and missile threat.
Weak sanctions against North Korea have clearly proven unsuccessful. The legislation before us today represents the tough response that is necessary to send this message directly to North Korean leaders. Disarm or face severe economic sanctions.
But the measures seem to have little effect on North. In a move seen to be a show of strength by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, a senior military leader was executed on charges of factionalism, misuse of authority and corruption. General Lee Yong-gil's execution is the latest in a sting of high-profile officials being purged in a dramatic fashion. The country continues to be in self-congratulatory mode, cheering for the scientists and technicians involved in the recent rocket launch and last month's nuclear test. North Korea insists the launch was to put a satellite into orbit, but it is being viewed by other nations as a front for a ballistic missile test. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a major boost to net neutrality, Facebook has decided to shut down its controversial Free Basics program in India following telecom regulator TRAI's move to bar operators from charging different rates for internet access based on content. Facebook had met with severe criticism for its program, which aimed at providing basic internet access to people in partnership with telecom operators. Earlier this week, the TRAI issued regulations in favor of net neutrality, ruling against differential pricing, and also said that a per-day penalty of 50,000 rupees will be levied for discriminatory tariffs charged by service providers, subject to a maximum of 50 lakh rupees. Facebook had pitched Free Basics as a pro-poor internet access app in India, a claim that did not go down well with net neutrality activists who opposed it. The service was available in India with Reliance Communications. In December, RCom put the service on hold following a TRAI directive to that effect. Now, more than 100 people were injured after a train derailed in South Cairo in Egypt after colliding with a concrete block. The accident took place early today morning near the southern city of Beni Suef. The train was headed from Aswan to the capital, Cairo. The front of one of the carriages was lifted several meters into the air. An eyewitness said that the train appeared to have driven at a higher than usual speed. More than 40 ambulances were rushed to the spot of the accident. No deaths have been reported so far.
هو كان جاي على سرعة يعني بصراحة مش متوقعة. بعدين هو داخل التخزينة. المفروض التخزينة دي يهدي فيها. أنت فاهمني؟ مش ماشي هو على طريق مش ماشي على طريق عمومي. ده ماشي على تخزينة معناه كده إنه هيقف. أنت حضرتك السرعة بصينا لنا حاجة جامدة بص طخ خبطت في الصخر.
Some more international news now in Global Buzz. Two female suicide bombers killed more than 60 people at an internally displaced persons camp in Nigeria on Thursday. The two detonated themselves in the middle of a camp for people displaced by violence unleashed by the Boko Haram group. Emergency officials added that 78 people were injured as well. 64 people were arrested in connection to Monday night's violence in Hong Kong that saw protesters hurl bricks at police. Dozens of people were charged on Thursday. The riot broke out after a dispute between vendors and the police on the first day of the Lunar New Year holiday. Indonesia's Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi welcomed her Thai counterpart Pramuddin Vinay in Jakarta today. They sat down for bilateral talks aimed at strengthening relations between the two countries. After the meeting, the pair held a joint news conference focusing on issues including transnational crime and economic ties. 4 bodies have been recovered at the collapsed building in Taiwan. As of Thursday noon, the death toll has climbed to 61, with 74 still missing. Rescuers are about to reach the bottom of the building, where they believe more than half of the missing are trapped. Some sports now, and India's splendid run at the 12th South Asian Games continued as they bagged a whopping 40 gold medals on the 6th day of the competition and are now equal with its own record of the most number of gold medals at the event. Indian track and field athletes again displayed flawless performances, bagging 10 gold medals. In swimming, India won 5 golds, 4 silvers and 1 bronze, while shooters clinched 3 gold medals. In wushu, the hosts bagged 6 gold medals, besides making a clean sweep of gold in badminton, tennis and table tennis. India presently has a total of 198 medals, 118 gold, 63 silver and 17 bronze. Sri Lanka is second, while Pakistan is third, followed by Bangladesh at fourth. India have already evened the 118 golds it won in the 2006 edition of the Games in Colombo, with 6 days of the competition still remaining. Well, that's it from us. Goodbye.